fuck this up somehow. Legs, hamstrings, glutes, and some back to finish off. So this is essentially the breakfast for today. It's oats, and I mix it with protein and blueberries, some salami meat, multivitamins, creatine water, and a Monster in the morning. Don't judge me. So the first exercise here that I've got is a Smith machine. Good morning. I used to have like barbell RDLs, but the form was so varied on it. So the Smith machine I felt was just a lot nicer in being really stable and just being able to like get a really structured foot position, because I've got the lines on the tiles, so I know where my feet are at all times, so the leverages are always the same. Don't feel it in my lower back at all the stretches in the back of my legs, and into my glutes as well. I can really feel it. So I've quite liked this one recently, and it's probably something that'll be sticking around for quite some time. But it does suck. It's quite hard. It's just really stable, gets a good stretch, so it is a staple for me at the moment in terms of like hamstring or glute development. More towards hamstrings. I don't get my knees bent very much, so yeah, but a really nice one compared to like if you get lower back pain in some of the dumbbell or barbell or the hyperextension, that sort of stuff. This seems to be a really good one for that. You see, I'm really starting to struggle towards the end here. Everything should be 1 rep in reserve, although we'll get to a couple here where that definitely wasn't the case. So, but that was tough. Next one's leg curls. Another one that's just super secure. It's just all hamstrings. I tried to really bend over on this one so my torso's as forward as possible. It seems to feel better. I get really good pump in my hamstrings after this, and like a pump in my hamstrings doesn't seem that easy to get. So this tends to really help if I really pull myself down into it and have my torso bent right over. I get a good stretch into it, and it's like only hamstrings are moving. So that's quite good. I like to go heavy on these as well. I don't like going light. I'd like just getting them over and done with. 7 to 8 reps, and then just I'm out of there. So this one is I've got neck training in, so this is me essentially just warming up for the neck curls, or whatever you want to call them, that I'm going to do, and you'll see how I do them in a minute. Look kind of funky. Lots of people will be kind of looking at you a little bit weird, but who cares, right? You want the neck to grow as well. There's not that many exercises for it, so this is one that I found is quite nice. The only issue with this is you'll see how it sets up in a second. When the plate is on my head and it's going into that stretch position, it can feel like the plate's dropping towards the floor, obviously because of the angles and stuff of it. So I have been thinking of some other ways. I've got some attachments for my head. Maybe I could put like it onto a cable machine and be sat more upright and stuff. It's just really a question of how silly do I want to look in the gym. But I do want to train my neck, so maybe it doesn't really matter. But this has been quite nice for now. The front of my neck, like, really just sucks. Like it's not an easy one to do. It's one of those ones that's just really painful. It's the same sort of feeling that you get like if you're doing like lat raises or any sort of like that shoulder work. And as soon as I get out, your vision's all blurry. You can barely see. You need a few seconds to recombobulate, or whatever the word is. And then this is me just going for another set here. So I've got 2 sets of these. The leg stuff you might find a bit strange that it's a leg orientated sort of session, but I've only got 1 set for those legs, and it's just because my hamstrings, they just don't recover enough. Like that 1 set, because I'm training 6 times a week, I get to hit my hamstrings 2 to 3 times a week during these. But the recovery, if I did two sets, then the next time I'm in for the hamstrings, they just won't be ready. So I don't seem to need that many sets on them. About 12 sets a week is a good amount for my hamstrings. That's a high amount. So I don't know if any of you sort of have the same thing when it comes to that hamstrings or sort of glute work. It's pretty brutal. Could do a lot more of my quads, but hamstrings not so much. And now we're into like the glute kickbacks. These actually have 4 sets on them. These really are tough. They just knock it out of me. You can see by the end of the 4th set, it's just like I don't really want to be standing up. But it's all enjoyable. Like I like it when it's difficult. It feels like you're getting some stuff done. So I don't mind so much. This is the 1st set here, and I think I'm going for like 13 reps. I've stuck to doing them just on the same side of the cable machine. I used to do that like on my left foot. I would go on one side, and my right foot will go on the other side. But to be honest, I haven't felt that there's really any difference. So I'll just do it on one side. I would have went on the right side here, so that left side's free. But on the right side, there is like there's a stack of barbells, like them pre-made ones, so you can't really use that area. And unless I'm on like the way these cables are set up from the angles of them, unless I'm to the side of them, it doesn't feel quite right. Or I'd go on the left side, but there's actually someone there on the left side, so I'm taking up both of the cable machines, which obviously isn't ideal. I don't want to do that, but sometimes it's what you have to do. Just going into the 2nd set here. I think towards the 2nd set, it was already getting pretty tough. I could feel it. I think I still managed to get 13 out both sides for 3 sets, and then the last one really started to drop off. I tend to like getting my torso as far down as I can, and I think for the 3rd set I even dropped it down a little bit further, so that there's like as much stretch on the glute as possible in that position where my foot's closest to the cable. It tends to help, but as you can see, like even here on the second set, it's starting to get tough, which is good. It's where you want it to be. Each one wants to be, by the end of it, about 1 rep in reserve for that last set, which was definitely the case on these towards that last set, and even the third set, I would say that the 13 was 1 rep in reserve, and I had to drop it off for a rep when it got to the last set. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm having to take up 2 cables here. It seems to feel a little bit better if I keep my legs straight. It's not as good as if you'll see like my knees kind of bending in to try and have it as like, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those machine glute kickbacks where you're bending your knee in and it comes out straight. So I'm trying to imitate that with this, and it kind of works. It definitely feels better with my torso right bent over and my knee coming bent in towards the concentric position, or not the concentric position, the eccentric position. So there, if my knee's kind of bent, it feels a whole lot better. I have tried bringing my knee like really bent and they're sort of right up to my chest, but the problem is where the cable's placed. It's like I'm pulling the cable up a little bit if I do that, and if I place the cable higher, then the actual kickback portion isn't as good. And as much as I would like this to be more of a stretched exercise, it just isn't the case, so I can't really make it something that it isn't. But getting my knee up as high as possible without it actually pulling is what I'm trying to do here, essentially. And here it's getting really rough. But between the first set, I'm having to stop and take a breather into the next one, which isn't ideal. Like if it was in between the actual reps, like if I had to do 8 reps and then stop and take a breather, that's not great because it's something that I can't really track. And if I go into next week and then don't take a breather but I do the same amount of reps, I've actually progressed and I don't know it. But where this is like a unilateral exercise where I'm doing one leg and then the other, I'm not too worried about taking a breath in between, especially when it gets really difficult. I'd actually rather do that than go into the other leg at a disadvantage where it's just completely knackered and then dropping off for a set. But here, like, I'm ruined. I'm screwed. That was tough. Definitely like 1 rep in reserve, like 1 clean rep. And then we're in for the last set. And this is where it has to drop off. I'm not liking the thought of doing this. Someone was doing a closed grip bench press and I decided that was much more entertaining, and that's what I had to look at rather than actually going into this last horrible set. And then I realised that I probably shouldn't stare at people while I'm in the gym. Procrastinate a little bit more and then into it. So it drops off on this one. Also, I don't know what's going on with my right leg there. I didn't notice that when I was doing it, but it's like I'm bending in there. That's not great. It's not something that I really want to be doing. I want that leg to be my stability, so I want that to be really locked in. What might be a good idea is for me to put like maybe some sort of mat or something on the other side to make sure that that foot's properly stable and it's not moving about. Although the foot doesn't look like it's moving too much, it's just that knee's like bending in and stuff, just where I'm just exhausted, I guess. The form stayed quite well here, considering how much I kind of get this mindset when it starts getting tough. It's like, just get through it, which isn't the greatest mindset to have. Really should just be focusing on every rep, making sure it all looks the same. If I look back at this and every rep looks the exact same as the last one, like it looks like it's on a video on repeat, then that's pretty good. And these reps more or less do look like the same as the last one. I start to slow down towards the end, but that's expected when you get in towards failure. Like there is maybe I stopped a little bit early looking at it, actually. Maybe I had a couple more left in me there. I think I pushed out. Bit of a bitch in that one. So the next one we got is we've got some back work to finish off. So these are the incline rows on the bench. All of my upper body stuff at the moment is pretty much dropped off to maintenance, but I've actually feel like I've noticed a decent amount of growth. So maybe my minimum required volume to grow is less than I think for the upper body. So I might even, when going for a bulk, have a lot more focus on my legs, which are a weaker point, which is why I've sort of got some focus on them now. I might have a lot more focus on them than the upper body, except for the chest, which is really lagging behind. So maybe I can have something where it's like a chest focus with a lot of legs in there as well, and sort of drop the triceps and things back down to maintenance, because I'm not so worried about my triceps not growing at the moment. So the only problem with what's going on here at the moment, because these are the last exercises, because I'm prioritising legs, I am already knackered going into these, especially at this point in the diet. If this was during a period of a bulk, I'd probably be fine. But when you're on such like a calorie restriction like I am at the moment, and if you can hear my sniffing, I've got a suspicion that maybe I'm not 100%. But these are knackering. Like if these were at the start of the exercise, they probably would have felt fine for that amount of weight and that amount of reps. Obviously, all the weight is quite light at the moment because I'm so late into the cutting phase for me. My strength isn't the greatest. So I've had a big issue with these. I put these in just to sort of try them out to see how they feel on my back. A lot of the times with a lot of back work that I have, the shoulders can kind of take over, like in pull-ups and stuff. The shoulders are kind of the limiting factor. There's like some strange stretch going on there where it drops into my shoulders. And then I've just been trying some different exercises to see if I can find some ones that work for me. These are not it. These have been kind of shitty. And my strap is now absolutely ruined. That's like about to snap at any point now. So any sort of heavy work on them, I feel like it's gonna go. It's all frayed away. So especially for the last set here, this last set was just, I finished it and felt like it was a mess. I haven't looked back at it yet, but we'll see here how bad it is. The big thing that I was noticing on the rep ranges was, because of this like burning sort of stretch sensation I was getting in the inside of my shoulders, which isn't great. It's not what you want to see on these. The range of motion was always slightly different. I was kind of playing about with it, because if I shorten my range, I could kind of keep it more tension on the back, whereas if I went into like a real deep stretch like there, it started to go more into my shoulders, which is the same sort of thing I find on the pull-ups, funnily enough. If I get right up over the bar, it just goes into kind of shoulders, and if I go right down into a stretch, it goes into shoulders as well. So if I've been like sort of trying to keep my shoulders away from my ears and trying to keep all that stretch on the lats, but so much concentration to do that. So here, just wanted to kind of see like where I am in the cut at the moment. So like, I don't know, I feel like it's around sort of 12%. I've been fairly happy with it. The lighting here is not the best, to be fair. But looking fairly lean. A couple weeks more and hopefully that'll drop down a little bit, so then bottom abs kind of show up a little bit more. I did find a little bit better lighting where I got this kind of cool shot. My shoulders look quite cool there, but other than that,
nice and easy.
Good.
Just steak and vegetables. I like these ranch steaks. They don't taste so bad. They're pretty good for like a lean cut. But one of these steaks, 148 calories, is 27.9 grams of protein. So basically 28 grams of protein. So that's kind of perfect. Like very low calorie or high protein, and it tastes fine. It's not like some of the really like low fat cuts can not be so nice, or just really expensive. Like if you're getting fillet, it's going to be expensive. So this is good. And then 2 packs of these. And when I start getting hungry, I think everyone gets this, when they start craving salt a lot. So I always finish off these sessions now with cardio, but not like, it's not intense, it's just a very high gradient, slow walking pace for like 10 minutes. And it burns roughly like maybe 150 calories. But that counts for a lot right now, especially when I'm getting this hungry. So I'll take it, and it doesn't really fatigue me at all. So it's a good trade-off, in my opinion. I'm happy to do that. I get a lot of steps in each day anyway, so I don't really want to start going for more walks and taking more time out of my day to do that. So just after the session for 10 minutes at a higher gradient is okay. I wouldn't be going for like runs or anything like that, because it would just absolutely ruin me. Just getting through the workouts at the moment is tough. So I don't want to add any more fatigue to whatever I'm doing, so that I can just squeeze as much out of this cut as possible. And then once I get used to this weight and I do the maintenance phase, I'll be able to cut again if I wanted to, and it won't be as severe. It's only because this leanness I haven't hit in. I'm not sure if I've been this lean before, or it's been a long time, so just not used to being here. The body's in shock, thinking I'm starving and dying. So this meal was like, what, 78 calories each pack of that? 70 calories, 140 plus 148, 280, 288 calories, 29 grams of protein. Maybe they got a gram between the two of them, or 2 grams, so maybe 30 grams, which is a little low. I would like an extra 10 grams from somewhere, which I might grab. From this, actually, it works quite well. This is like low-fat mozzarella, and every 50 calories is like 6 grams of protein. So for every 30 grams, so there is about 60 grams of this, bang on, 57. So that's an extra 100 calories, so that's 388 calories, and 42 grams of protein. That's spot on. Easy. I don't know how to incorporate that into this meal. I'll probably just cut it out. So, and then when everything's done, put it on top and then just melt it on top somehow. Yeah, low-fat mozzarella is brutally good. I don't see a lot of people using it that much. But the reduced fat mozzarella, I mean, 50 calories, 6 grams of protein, that's good. And it's dairy protein, so like the protein quality is way up there. Is it sacrilege to just microwave that on top when I'm done? Probably. Do I care though? Put some of that on top, or I think I bought some other stuff. There we go. When I'm cooking a steak like this, and it's got like, I can't use very good oil or something to get like a good sear. Like it's like this light oil, the sear's not great on it. I feel like the temperature that it can rise up to isn't very high. So I like to put water in it for all of that stuff that gets to the bottom of the pan, and it kind of picks it up. Deglaze, I think is the word. And it like soaks the steak in it and just makes it taste so much better just by putting a little bit of water in there. And all that salt that just got lost that I put on just recoats the steak. It's great. So little tip for some of these less flavourful steaks. Like that. That's good. This is something I like to do with a veg. I like lemon. I like lemon a lot, so that just makes the vegetables so much better. So much better. I'm still not sure how to put this on. Yeah, change the right oil this time to be fair. Actually, it's pretty nice. Sounds a bit funny at first. It's actually pretty good. Once these vegetables are done, I prefer putting it in these pots rather than the plates, because with the pots, especially if I'm mixing stuff up, I just put the lid on, like with the lemon juice, and just shake the shit out of it. And it covers the whole thing, which is great. And they're much easier to clean. All I give a shit about is convenience. Whatever makes the diet easier. I want to give myself no reason to say I'm not doing that. And then with the steak, cut it. And there's a moment of truth. It's not bad. Like that on top. And then I'm going to cover this in this. Like so. I know, more salt. Then me see if I can melt that in a microwave. I haven't tried this before. I'll whack it in there, see if it works. Place needs to be properly cleaned tomorrow. There's like that. Gross. I mean, hopefully that melts, and then good. I don't know if there's any sauces that I can afford to put on it. Got all these sauces that are fairly low calorie. What's this? Per 15 grams, 16 calories. It's not bad. And this one is 40 calories per 15 grams. So maybe this. I don't know if I want barbecue sauce on steak and vegetables, honestly. Melting. I mean, it's kind of working. I'm gonna leave it. I can't wait to eat. Yeah, so I'm thinking 2 more weeks of cutting like this, so that there's this little bit of lower belly fat that's just left there. That's just a little bit annoying. Just that. If that went, I'd be happy. I'd stop now. But I really want to squeeze it out all I can to get that last bit out, and then 2 weeks, because that's the end of this actual block of training. I think like the inverted rows, the ones that I was doing with those straps, I put it in as like a new thing. I don't really use them, but it's just big on the shoulders. Like there's so much going on here that shouldn't be going on, and then I can only go to a certain range without it just starting to pull on the shoulders instead of towards the back. The form could be slightly off, but I'm just constantly having to tweak every rep, and that's not a good sign for any exercise. So, and there's so much more that I could do. Just even like, I get the same sort of experience with pull-ups and stuff where it gets a bit shouldery, and the straps usually help, and I can pull from the wrist instead of the hands. So I use them a lot, and that often just activates my back a whole lot more than my shoulders. But that's definitely not what should be happening. So after this couple of weeks, I'll probably throw them out. Maybe put like the barbell rows work quite nicely for me. Not my favourite exercise because there's so much like anti-gravitational fatigue going on, like just the fatigue in the muscle of just having to keep yourself up while rowing. So it's not ideal, but I feel it in the right place and there's no shoulder bothering. So that's a better trade-off than just like I don't feel like my back was trained very well in an inverted row, so it's pointless. Essentially. Oh, that melted, nice. That works. The steak's probably overcooked now. And then 15 teaspoons. About 15 grams there. More or less. It's only 16 calories, so it's not bad. Right. See what it's like. Melting that cheese is not worth it. That ruined the steak. It made it really rubbery. I mean, that looks cool. Kind of. I mean, but it's not worth it. It's also 1,000 degrees, so you know, I'm still throwing it in my mouth as if it's not going to torture me. I'm actually hoping anyway, when I go into that maintenance phase, once this is done, then I'm going to have some sort of rebound effect on weight, no matter what. Like my weight was, I mean, I'll see if I can put a video up of where I was at the beginning, and it was like 88 kilos or something, whereas now I'm at 86 to 88 kilos. I can't remember when the video was taken, but I started off at 88. And that was 14 weeks ago now. And I'm nearly 10 kilos down. I'm 78.75, 78.8 kilos. So like 9.2, 9.3 kilos down now, which is a top end of cutting, I would say. I wouldn't want to go any faster than that. But I'm hoping that because of that, when I go into my maintenance phase, and I'll be fairly lean, that I'm going to gain some muscle back anyway, because I would have lost some during this phase. So how lean I am, even though I won't be losing any body fat, I'll look leaner because the muscle's going up. So go into the maintenance phase, focus on strength. I seem to adapt really well to strength training. I just can't do it while I'm cutting. I seem to adapt to it, like for muscle growth, that kind of lower rep range. And I don't mean like powerlifting training. I'm not going to do like two, 3 reps of things, but it's going to be on the lower end. Like maybe I'll put some deadlifts in, and there'll be like a 3 to 5 rep range. So pretty strength orientated, but you'll still grow some muscle off that. I mean, so I'm hoping that during that maintenance phase, the muscle that I grow makes me look leaner, even though I'm not losing any more weight and I'm not actually losing any more fat. That's the hope and prayer. We'll see how it goes. And then after that, when that finishes off, I go for a 2-week mini cut, maybe go to 1.5, maybe even 1.75, 2 is a bit of a push, % body weight drop per week. 1.5 sounds better, so that's a 3% body weight drop in 2 weeks, just to really just cut all the fat off, drop all the training down to maintenance, and then go for like a bulk, go for a muscle gain phase where I'll be like in a maybe like 300 calorie surplus, and then yeah, that should be good. And that'll be what, like 30 weeks down the line, 30, 31, 32 weeks down the line. That's the plan. And then by the end of that, I'd look to gain, and during the bulk, I'm probably going to look to gain about 1.5% a month of body weight, which sounds quite slow, but I'll see how I go. I might be able to do a bit more than that, but it seems that the more and more research that's done on it, it's the less and less the bigger bulks tend to make an effect for muscle growth by the looks of it. And I'm hoping it goes that way, because that's promising news that people can go, especially for people like me that hate cutting. I hate cutting. I like bulking and I really enjoy my training while bulking. Whereas now it's like I don't really I feel always exhausted. I don't really get to throw heavy weight around. It's always quite lightweight and everything feels heavy. So I really enjoy the bulk training. So being in like a slight surplus, not gaining that much fat while bulking, I won't have to cut again, or at least for a fair period of time. And maybe I can even just bulk mini cut, and bulk maintenance mini cut, or whatever it is. And then that'll keep me at a level that I need to. That I'll be happy with, sort of fat wise. I want it to be maintainable. I'd like to be around 12%. I think I'm about 14% body fat at the moment. I'd like to be about 12%. So, like, fairly vascular. Not any feathering in any muscle groups or anything like that. I think I'm too slim for it. That just wouldn't look cool. But yeah, I'd be happy with that. Staying around 12%. And that's like a healthy, sustainable range, right? You're not gonna feel like death on 12%. Probably. I mean, probably not. Maybe you have to go down there a couple of times to the point where you just feel comfortable being there. But for the most part, I would say most guys at 12% can probably handle that. Without any negative side effects. That cheese actually did this justice as well, that was nice. I don't know about the barbecue sauce, that was needless. It overshadowed the lemon, to be fair, and I prefer lemon to barbecue sauce anyway. So I don't really know why I did that. Another big problem I have when eating is my sweet tooth, especially after having a meal, is nuts. But there are these like Hartley jelly pots and they're like 10 calories each. You can go get 5 of them, 50 calories. Nice. If you don't like jelly, ice pops are another one. I don't like ice pops. But I know that helps some people quite a bit. So about midway through the day, and currently I'm at probably around 900 calories, and let's say 80 grams of protein, roughly. Another 100 grams of protein to go, another 1,700 calories to go. 700 of those calories will be placed in another meal. So just before I head off to work in the gym. So that'll be around maybe in the next sort of 4 or 5 hours, about 6 o'clock. It's probably about 12 now. So in the next 5 hours, have it around 5 p.m. Maybe 4 p.m. I can't remember. I think 4 p.m. is more accurate. And then when I get back this evening, I leave 1,000 calories because that's when I get hungry. Not because like I'm getting overly hungry, it's just that's when cravings really set in. So things like Halo Top ice cream has been a lifesaver. Honestly, if I could, and I think it would be adherable for me, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather have like my preferred nighttime meal, just for results, I think, would be some like dairy based stuff. I know Halo Top is, but it's also like the micronutrient density is not amazing. And I just think that over time, if I had sort of healthier meals in the evening time rather than like my go-tos are like the Halo Top, I might have some like deli meats, like those are like Italian like dried meats like salami or chorizo and stuff, and that's fine, that's completely fine. But I'd like to have that with some sort of yogurt with fruits, like a Greek yogurt with fruits and stuff. I feel like I would feel better in the long run for that, but it just wouldn't be adherable. Like at night time, if I've got an hour and I'm sitting there watching Netflix, I don't want to sit there watching Netflix while guzzling down Greek yogurt. Absolutely not. It's not going to do it for me. I might last 5-6 weeks doing that, and then at some point I'm going to crack. And when I crack, it won't just be a little cheat, it will be like, right, I'm going to go get a full tub of, I don't know, Maltesers or something. So the realms of importance for it drop right down because of that fact for me. But yeah, but that's good. Another day done. I quite enjoyed filming it. It feels a little bit weird with people around, like when you're sitting there filming your stuff, but I feel like that's a good thing. I get a bit anxious, so you know, delving into public situations that make me anxious is probably a good idea, if that's a weakness I have. So I'll probably do this more. I enjoyed it. And then it also keeps me a bit accountable. Like some of those, most of those exercises had to be 1 rep in the reserve, and there was a couple there that didn't get there, like the inverted rows. I wasn't 1 rep in reserve. I had more in me. Maybe had more in me in the second set of the dumbbell rows on the incline. But I was very, very aware of that because I was filming myself, whereas before maybe I wouldn't have paid as much attention to it. I'd have been like, well, that feels about right. But when you're filming, it's like you've got somebody watching you, and it just pushes you that little bit and just makes you really aware when you feel like you're not pushing yourself as much. So actually, filming it was pretty good. It kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone there, that anxiety effect, and also better quality training by having someone watching you. Or at least you feel like you're having someone watching you when you're filming it and you know you're going to post it. So that was good. I'll probably do that quite a bit more if I can get a session done once a week and maybe go for each individual different session that I do. While I'm on this sort of leg focused mesocycle while it's finishing up, especially for the 0 reps in reserve week, because I know for sure that especially like on the hamstring exercises, like those good mornings on the Smith machine to 0 reps in reserve, there is no way last cycle when I did them that I hit 0 reps in reserve. They're just brutal, and you get like you realistically probably got like 2-3 more in you, but they feel so difficult that, well, for me anyway, then I just wimp out. And filming myself might really help that, because when I have a friend with me and I'm doing it, it's like, right, I really need to go to 0 reps in reserve, especially if they're training 0 reps in reserve as well, because I just feel bad being like, oh yeah, that was 0 reps in reserve, and actually feeling like I've got 1 to 2 left in me, and then they go to 0 reps in reserve and they're just in pain. Like, you can't do that. So this creates a similar sort of effect, so this was good. Nice, and then we'll see how the next 2 weeks go, and then see you at the end of, well, maybe see you next week for whatever workout I put in there, and then see you at the end of the cut, and then we'll progress from there. That's good. Nice.